And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Right across the street from my church is a business called New York Sub. I enjoy going there for lunch sometimes. But New York Sub is a place where you can go to buy sub sandwiches or cell phones. And that doesn't seem to mesh. I told her I think that's probably the only place in the world I know that's cell phones and and sub sandwiches. But have you ever been to a place that was a tennis shop and a marriage counselor? This game allows you to do that. This game is called Funny Business, and it's a party game in which you're trying to put together two businesses that normally would not be together and come up with an interesting name for those. It's a pretty funny little game. Let's take a look at how it works. There's several components that come with the game, but I want to mention these stands. Usually games come with plastic stands that fall over fairly easily. These are really nice. And when you put the cards in them, they don't really move at all. They're heavily weighted. I really like them. I'm not going to use them now because it's easier to show you the cards like this in the video. But at the beginning of each turn, two of these cards are turned over. And these represent the two cards that come in your business. And there is a ton of cards that come with this game. It makes a pretty hefty box, actually. Each player takes a board of their color and takes one of the markers that comes with the game. Now, my game came with 3 defective markers. Hopefully they don't, but any writable marker will do. And one thing I like about these markers is that there's an eraser built on the back, so they're very, you don't have to have tissues laying around to wipe off the boards. A pretty neat idea. But anyway, each player looks at these two names. You see, you have a tennis shop here and a marriage counselor, and you're trying to figure out how to put those two together. Now, there's all kinds of words written on these cards, and that's mostly so you can get some ideas of what you want to put together. For example, you see here conflict on the one card, and over here you see doubles, and maybe you can put those together. In the case of tennis shop and marriage counselor, one of the players put love, love, and then something after that. Someone put serving love. And you can put whatever you want. So after each player gets together what they want, their cards are all placed in the middle, and everyone reads the answers. So you can see here they're all blank because I didn't feel like writing them down. And then each player is given a voting device in which you can change the color of the O's secretly, and you're going to vote for the one you like the best. Now, you can vote for your own, although the rules say you shouldn't vote for your own unless you think yours is the best. But everyone then reveals their votes. Whichever card gets the most votes gets 2 points. And then whoever votes for that card that got the most votes gets 1 point. So there's a mechanic built in so that you're trying to vote for the one that everyone else votes for, but at the same time everyone's trying to write the best one so that people vote for theirs. Score is kept on a scorecard, and which has a certain amount of rounds on it. And at the end of a certain amount of rounds, whoever has the most points win. Now, the game includes the idea of the boss. Each turn, one player is the boss, or the person who pulls the cards out, sets everything up. But also, they get double points when it's their round. It's an interesting idea. I don't really think it adds anything to the game. I mean, what does it matter when you're boss or not? But it's still in there. So, it's a fun game where you're trying to make funny names, or a clever, punny name, or just any old name in general, and to get other people to vote for it. Funny Business is one of those games that as soon as I read the general idea of how the game worked, I said, this is a game that's going to be good. This is an interesting party game. And it is fun. It's interesting, though, the players' reactions to it. Everyone had an enjoyable time, but I did notice a couple things, and I thought I should say those. One is, unlike some party games, this one does penalize people who aren't very creative. I've seen some people sit there and they go, I really don't know what to write down. They can look at the words are nice, and it does help your creative juices get flowing. And I think that this should be on more party games maybe. But at the same time, some people just can't put that sort of thing together. At least they can't do it quickly. And the game includes a timer, 45-second timer, which for most people is going to seem awfully slow. You think of your name, you write it down, you put it out in the middle, and then you wait and wait and wait, and finally the timer's done. But, you can work around that. Short time limit, no time limit, do what you want. But you get some people together who are creative, and it's really fun. Very enjoyable to see what kind of names people came up with. And you can expand upon this and make a slogan for the place, or draw the logo, whatever you want to do. It's mentioned that in the rules, and you can make it fun. In fact, even before I read the rules about slogans, people were putting them into the games that we played because it gets people to vote for you. Which brings me to my last point about the game, the whole voting device in general. I really wish there was some way where you didn't know who wrote what, because knowing who wrote what does kind of determine whether you vote for them or not. If someone is winning the game, okay, and you can look at the score sheet and see who's winning, or even just realize who's winning by how many points they've gotten, it's going to be real tough to vote for theirs, even if you think theirs is the funniest. And, since many of the players are going to think that, no one's going to vote for theirs. And so the guy who's winning, he can't vote for his either, because probably no one else is, so he has to pick the second funniest. Seems like a small flaw. It didn't really detract from our enjoyment of the game, but a few people did mention it. And this game is very similar to a party game called Say Anything, although Say Anything is much more free form. This is about businesses. But I do like the amount of businesses that they included in this game. We got record shop, radio station, piano dealer, truck stop, teacher supply store, sewage treatment facility, zoo, advertising firm, video arcade, amusement park, math tutor. I mean, they really did a good job, and the words they put on these are great. So this is definitely a party game that I'm going to keep in my collection. It's not one I'll bring out for any situation, but it does work very well. I just got to go find me some new pens.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.